What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica Honey, and we are down here to talk about the Real Housewives of New York City. New York City, get a rope. Do you think that would have remember that commercial? What was that? It was a salsa. Paste picante sauce. Paste picante sauce salsa. And there was a commercial where the cowboys were eating some salsa. And then they said, "Where's the salsa made?" And and then the man looked on the back of the label and it said New York City. And they go, "New York City." And then somebody says, "Get a rope." Ooh, I don't know if that commercial would go today. That was an old commercial. Anyways, go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Let the diva know you stop by. We are down here to talk about the Real Housewives of New York. It's the next morning at Aaron's house. Brynn is in the bed with Aaron. Aaron is going to make a shashuka. 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 I can't pronounce it, but it is a Maghribi dish of eggs, poached eggs, in a sauce of olive oil, tomatoes, peppers, onions, garlic, commonly spiced with cumin, paprika, and cayenne pepper. That sounds good to me. I really did not like the way that Sai was acting about that meal. I don't like it. I did not like that at all. What the fuck is a shashuka? Girl, that is I just don't, to me, I don't, I guess I'm in, I don't like when people act weird about what other groups of people around the world eat. Like I think it's just so weird. Anyways, Uba talks about her hot sauce, Uba Hot. She came out with it in 2021, I think she said, and Oprah put it on her favorite things and her business launched. She was excited about it. She wants to take her business to the next level as she talks to her friend later on in the episode. They sit down, they're eating the shashuka. Shashuka. Okay? They're sitting down, they're eating. Like I said, I did not like Sai talking about what the fuck is that. Like, I feel like that's so rude. And I feel like if somebody said that about a Puerto Rican dish, you would take a little offense. Like, what the fuck is a arroz con gandules? What the fuck is that? That didn't feel good, did it? Right. Don't do that. I just don't like that. I just don't like that. And I want to like Sai. I do. But she's getting on my nerves already. I'm like, girl. They talk about Brynn having a real family. I guess it's around the holidays, right? Thanksgiving is coming up. Brynn she has a rough history. She's been engaged 3 times. They talk about this guy named Gideon, who's a nice Jewish guy who looks at Brynn with stars in his eyes. She says they all do. I said, I know that's right, bitch. But she doesn't want to get married. She feels like if she had married any of those, engagement, or she accepted any of those engagement proposals, that she would have been divorced. She would have been divorced 3 times. So no. Aaron talks about being in real estate, and she works with Frederick. He was on $1 Million Listing. She has a company called Homegirl. I thought that was cute. She's really into design and building and increasing the property value. And they showed her working, in this, in the before and after and stuff like that. She talked about her mom and dad being in real estate, and basically, she just was able to fall into that as well. But she likes the design side more than the real estate side. She likes to do design and rebuild and stuff like that. So we get to learn a little bit more about her. Brynn talks about she's going to the hairdresser. Everybody leaves. Where were they? Martha's Vineyard. Where were they? The Hamptons. Everybody leaves. They go back home. Brynn, we see, is at the hairdresser, at the beauty salon. She's getting her hair done. She talks about her grandmother being a white woman, and a friend of theirs telling the grandma to take her children to get their hair done at the black lady hair salon. She said her grandmother took her there every week. Her grandmother was raising 3 biracial kids. It's something going on. I don't know if it's drugs. I don't know if it's trafficking. I don't know if it's pimpery. I don't know if the dad was a pimp and the mother was on drugs, but apparently the mom and the dad neglected them. Neglect and abuse, she said. She said when she would go to school, the kids made fun of her because of her hair. She went to all white school. The black side of her family was never in the picture. She don't know nothing about her black side of the family, which is unfortunate. And I was just listening to her, like, I imagine, and it's really because the pathology of the men. It's like, I really feel like a lot of biracial kids, their stories are very similar, especially when the white side of the family is racist, or they don't know the black side of their family because their father abandoned them. She said the last time she was in the home with her mother and father was when she was 6 months old. So I'm trying to figure out, did her siblings tell her about what she went through? If she was not in the home with her mom and dad up to 6 months old, I'm trying to figure out what memories did she have for her to be so emotional about it. But they were neglected and abused by her mom and dad. I really want to know. And the grandmother ends up taking care of her and her siblings. She says the only exposure that she had to black women was in the salon that her grandmother took her to, and that her grandmother may have not realized that it had a massive impact on her upbringing, because she would take her to the hair salon every week and she would sit amongst the women and get her hair done. For 10 years, she said her grandmother did that. So she thanks God for that. She said she was embarrassed to admit that she was black. Like, I'm telling you, there's probably a lot of biracial people that have had like similar experience to Brynn. I really felt like that. Like, I felt like when she was talking, I everything, I was just like, there's a lot of people who share this story. Might not be as severe or extreme, but the feelings of being embarrassed, right? Being embarrassed to be black, right? Living amongst racist white people, like trying to figure out and hearing the way they speak about black people and that being part of your identity, like, yikes, you know, and acting like they don't even recognize that part of your identity, and they speak, and you hear the people that you're related to speaking about black people in such a negative, disparaging way. You have a father who abandoned you, a mother who abandoned you. Her mother was a teenager. Her father was older, so you already know what that's giving. So I don't know. She said abuse and neglect. I don't know if it was drugs. I don't know what the father was doing, if she was pimping the mom out. I don't know what was going on over there. Left in a diaper for days. She's really had some traumatic experiences at the hands of her parents. And you can see she's in therapy because she said they didn't love her. She said, well, they didn't know how. She corrected herself and said they didn't know how to love. They didn't have a capacity for love. And they neglected and abused me and my siblings. Yuck. She didn't even want to talk about it with the producer. She was like, no, I don't want to talk about it. Uba calls her friend over. I think her friend was Caroline. Y'all let me know if I got her name right. I didn't see them put a little name on the bottom. Maybe I missed it. I don't know. But she said she met this woman at a boxing charity event. She's a strong-minded feminist, and she has a lot of attributes that she would like to learn from. I love that. A mentor, right? She exhibits attributes that I want to embody, and so I want her around me and I want to learn from her. Love it. I love that Uba said that. She wants to know why it's so hard for her to receive. She wants an investor. She's in her 3rd production of her hot sauce. She says she really comes from a community. In her culture, it is part of their culture to give so that the other person can excel, right? And she's just not used to the dynamic of asking for investors. you're not surrounded by family anymore. She says she feels alone. She doesn't have her mom. Her mom was the breadwinner and the boss. And she's like, well, what would your mom tell you if, you're going, through this or whatever? She was like, she would tell me to go get the money, go get it, go let people invest in you. Let the people invest in you. Let the people, support you and want to see you succeed. She gets emotional. So shout out to Uba. You're going to get it right, right? So Sai is in the kitchen with her husband. They're having a little small talk. She's sharing with him that she wants to do Brynn's giving for Brynn because, her family situation, and Thanksgiving is really all about family. And she says she knows what it feels like to feel lonely. She says, her family was on food stamps. They were very low income. So she calls Brynn to let her know she has this idea, and Brynn was really excited. She was like, we can mask our feelings with alcohol. She was like, I hope there's a parade. She's funny. She has a good sense of humor. And it's for her to have gone through so much trauma, and for her to be, and I feel like she does a little too much with the flirting. I feel like she goes a little overboard with the flirting. Like it gets a little uncomfortable for me. That's just for me. When I watch her on screen, I'm like, ugh, like a little, like immediately flirting with the chef. Like, girl, chill. You know what I'm saying? And then like, she was like, literally had to tell her he's married. Like, chill. Like, you're doing the most. You don't have to do all that. I feel like there's some overcompensation happening there. But we get to Aaron's house. We talk about Aaron's house. Jessel was off, right? They're talking about how Jessel was feeling, how she was coming off. They learned a lot about Jessel. They said Jessel is having a vagina drought. Girl. And then Sai's husband comes in with some damn, common sense. Like, they have twins over there. They're really busy. They probably don't have time to be intimate. And those little boys, is it a little boy and a little girl? They look like they busy moving and moving and moving and moving and moving. Like, just moving. Like, they got too much shit going on over there. Maybe they need to do a staycation, right? And so, do a staycation. Maybe they need to have some time alone so they could get the party started again. Jessel and Pavit are having a conversation. He basically is he's not asking like, okay, well, we need to be intimate. I'm not getting no sex. You're not giving me none. It doesn't seem like there's any of that. And that's what Jessel was like. He doesn't even care. Like, I'm telling him, like, he's understanding. Like, we have twins. We're very busy. It's impossible to get things done with twins. She wants to send them to a Montessori school. He wants to send them to a public school because he feels like it's a waste of money, basically. She said he's cheap. She's thinking more about the networking and setting them up to network. That's all about that and who they're around and stuff like that. That's what she's more concerned with. She wants to go on to the Hamptons. He was like, you want to recreate the trip because you didn't have a good trip with these girls. And he was like, what happened exactly? So she explains to him about what happened in the Hamptons. And he was like, well, to be honest with you, your tone is off. Like, he says you always kinda, right? He's trying to soften the blow, but you're really curt, and it's like you don't get it. Like, you're like, it's missing. And I feel like that's okay. I feel like some people, I don't feel like she's harming anybody. I just feel like it's just like her empathy gene is just like short. You know what I'm saying? It's like, Jessel, because when she went up to Aaron and was like, oh, so your grandmother died and this and that, she was like, oh, okay. She didn't give her a hug or anything. And I feel like it's okay because some people are just not like that, but I feel like because she's not hurting, it's just like she's just off. And it means she can be made aware of that. Bitch, I hollered when she was like, so you're calling me a bitch? He was like, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. But yeah, you do come off short. Like, you just don't have the empathy gene, right? Or it's just short. It's not all there. And just, it's some people's personalities. It's just not all there. I mean, It's just human beings, right? She did say she apologized to Jenna for her behavior. And she says, if you do something lame again, just come talk. She said, if I do something lame again, just come talk to me. Tell me about myself. I understand it. She says, it felt like Aaron and Sai got involved and it just became a thing that it really didn't have to become. And then she said, I did call them crazy cackling hens, but Jenna did too. And they was like, where did you get that from? She got it from Jenna because Jenna called them cackling. You could hear them cackling. She says, well, we don't have any free time. She was like, he doesn't care. It's like he doesn't care. So that's what people keep saying, that since he doesn't care that they're not having sex, he must be having sex with someone else. Or maybe he just is like, I get it. Like, I get why we're not having, maybe he's not one of those people, right? Maybe he's not one of those people that's like, oh, I need, like Joe Gorga, I need to release the poison and all this other stuff. Girl. Maybe just like whatever. Like, I feel like, I don't know. Like, what do y'all think? Tell me what y'all think about Pavitt and Jessel's little relationship they got going on. Aaron is trying to get sticky hands off the ceiling because Jenna's coming over. She was like, girl, after seeing her immaculate house, she doesn't have any kids running around. Her kid is a teenager, right? Or older than a teenager. Might be in his 20s. I don't know how old Jenna's kid is. But she so she wants to make sure she gets her house in order. I don't even think she got those sticky things off the ceiling. I love when Jenna greets all these women that she does make a comment about their outfit when she, like, as she's hugging them or greeting them. She was like, yes, so you're giving me stomach. And then when she saw Uba, she was like, I love when you're all sparkly. She says something about each of their outfits, like, right away. I love it. She's sitting down with Aaron. They're sitting down. I don't know, were they eating? I don't know. Oh, yeah, they were eating. And, Jenna, she starts telling her about the conversation that she had with Jessel and then how Jessel called them cackling hens. And then the producer even asked Jenna, like, why did you say it? She was like, girl, I don't know. I just told her. Yeah, you getting the mess started. You're just telling the other girls what the other girls said. And it's funny, in a friend group, you can tell the other girl what the other girl said, and then sometimes you leave out some stuff, like, I don't need to say that because that might hurt her feelings that she said that. You know what I'm saying? You just have to be mindful with what you share. So you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or whatever, because, Erin is offended that she called her a cackling hen. She has to address it later. She was like, you understand when you have children. And she was like, the empathy towards someone, you have to show empathy towards someone who's struggling to show empathy. And then Erin said she needs to get fucked. I was like, okay, bitch. Okay, girl. So Sai is getting ready for Friendsgiving. They have a chef and a bartender. She says no one's going to come to her house and starve. I feed people. She says she loves hosting. Brynn shows up. Brynn starts flirting with the chef. She was like, he's married. She was like, oh. She goes to the damn bartender. He was like, I'm actually married too. Girl. She was like, so y'all don't have no single men here for me, girl. She was like, she can't cook. Maybe that's why she's not married yet. Did you see Sai's, her daughter's hair, all that damn hair? I was like, girl, get all that hair from around the food. She had a lot of hair standing at the refrigerator. The bartender makes them some mocktails. Uba was like, ooh, this is so good. Jenna shows up. Brynn is telling everybody, happy Friendsgiving. She turns her back and look. I was like, her ass is funny. She is funny. Brynn is funny to me. Just the flirting is just it's just OD on the flirting. But girl, go off. Happy Friendsgiving, and then she walks away. Jenna says she has some slippers because you can't wear shoes in Sai's house. I'm with Sai. Do not bring the city into my house. Don't bring the city into my house. I don't need everything you done stepped on in the city. Piss, mud, shit, everything. Gum, girl. Cat shit, dog shit, goose shit, girl. Don't wear your shoes in the house. I'm with her. I thought it was rude for Aaron to be like, I mean, it goes with my outfit. No, you can't wear shoes in my house, girl. Period. Take your shoes off. We have slippers if you want to wear slippers. Take a picture of your outfit and post it if you are concerned about that, okay? When Uba goes to hug Jenna, she says, I love when you're sparkly. She says something about everybody's outfit. She said she was stuck in a vinyl suit. Did y'all see her? She was like, I'm stuck. Bitch. Sorry, I just hollered. I know the people next door, the people in the car next to me probably were startled. Erin doesn't want to take her shoes off, but she ends up taking her shoes off. Jessel arrives. Jessel's talking to Erin about her grandmother dying. Her grandmother was 94. I did notice that Erin was looking sad before she said anything about her grandmother. I was like, she's looking like she's not like, like in the festive mood or whatever. But she's there. Her grandmother had just died. She said it was really fast. She was in hospice only for 24 hours before she passed. And I said, Jessel just seems blunt. I wonder about her household. It was an awkward interaction because she was like, oh, she didn't give her a hug. She was like, I'm sorry to hear about your grandmother. It was no gesture to comfort her, right? It was nothing. It was none of that. And some people are not, can I hug you? She could ask, can I hug you? She's just not there. She just is not connecting. And I said, some folks just miss cues and it's okay. Some people just miss cues and it's okay. It's okay. I feel like it's okay. You can just tell the person like, I kind of felt away because, you were talking about my grandmother and we were just absent of empathy. You were just like, it felt like, let me just say this because this is the right thing to say, but I really have no emotional feeling towards it. Like, oh, I'm sorry to hear about your grandma. Okay, well, all right. Right. She says, I want her to tell me to my face that I'm a cackling hag. This is what Aaron and Brynn have a confrontation, right? They sit down next week. So we're going to see what that's about. They all sit down ready to eat. She's like, I wanted to do this aside. We want to thank Sai for doing this for Brynn. It's so good for everybody to come together. And, we wanted to do something for Brynn because, she didn't have this, growing up. It's an emotional time for her. It's difficult for her. That's when she tells about her mother was a teenager. Her black father was older. She said she didn't want to talk about it. And she told the producer, absolutely not. And then somebody said, just share. She shared that they were on welfare, Section 8 food stamps, all the things. The father got into trouble into bad stuff is how she described it. Abuse and neglect. She talked about, days before her diaper was changed, that type of neglect. So ain't no telling what they was doing in that household. Somebody online was like, you shouldn't say that. Because I said maybe the father was pimping the mom. It was some drugs involved or something. But, girl, I'm just going off of like seeing images of this happen all the time throughout America. Okay? You should reconsider. Somebody told me yesterday, you should reconsider deleting this tweet. Girl, what? How you coming over to telling me what to delete? Because these are real people. Yes. And I thank the people on reality TV all the time for sharing their stories, because but understanding that sharing their stories, there's millions of people, thousands of people that share similar stories to them. I always thank the people for getting and sharing their stories, because it's not easy, girl. A lot of the things that they're shared, they want you to be ashamed of, so you don't share it. I'm curious to know what the father was getting into some bad stuff, what that means, right? Anyways, that was the end of the episode. So hopefully Brynn will share more with us, or we'll find it on the internet somewhere, something, somehow. But I imagine that there's a lot of biracial kids who share how she feels. I mean, they're all on TikTok, especially the ones with the white mothers. I'm just gonna speak frank, especially the ones with the white mothers and the black fathers. They are really online sharing their stories. And they're not pretty. They're not. A self-hating father, a self-loathing mother, a racist mother's side, mothers calling them niggas and stuff like that, with the hard ER, right? With the hard R. Not combing their hair, neglecting them. The white grandmother, you know, it ain't no telling. I don't know how she feels about her grandmother, but she says she thanked her for taking her to the beauty supply, but girl, a beauty salon, because that's where, you know, black women get in community, and she was able to see a representation of strong black women. She was embarrassed to be black. And then at the same time, hearing the way white people speak about black people, girl, I'm sure it's you'll never know what that feels like. You won't know what that feels like. Anyways, take care of each other, protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. Peace.